Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel. I was going to say something else there, but yeah, it is the Webby and O'Neill channel. It's good to be back as Manchester United are back, and it's the match preview, Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United. As usual, get involved with your own opinions, and we'll try and discuss them throughout today's video. Great feeling to have Manchester United back tomorrow on Tuesday. 2-week break. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I've thought to myself about this game long and hard. 9 games to go. This is the back end of the season where it all matters. And I say to people out there, and I've looked at what people have been saying, I'm looking at it different than what people are saying. They're worried about this game. I think the pressure is massive on Nottingham Forest. This is the back end. They're now in a semi-final of the FA Cup, third in the league, a clear third in the league. That's pressure in itself. These Forest players haven't been in this position, and this football club, Nottingham Forest, has not been in this position for many, many years. These players, I think, could crumble under it. I've seen it before. That's what I'm looking at, and I think United can go there and play freely. The confidence is up, and I think to myself, the pressure is purely on Forest and their fans. I think they might be in for a shock.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about pressure at this point in the season. Obviously, they're in FA Cup after that match over the weekend against Brighton. And do you expect them, though, to qualify for the actual Champions League, finishing the top 4?
Oh, I think they'll qualify, but I think this is where, like, the legs can feel like lead, worrying about qualifying for the Champions League. Yes, they'd love to beat Manchester United, but I think it'll be a tough game for them. I don't think United are going to roll over, definitely not roll over. I think the focus is on United winning as many games as they can till the end of the season. Plus, United have got the Europa League, so that's something to go for. I think the confidence is back in the camp of Man United. I think Forest won't want to concede. That's how I look at it. And when they start playing defensive, not wanting to get beat, things go astray. And I've seen it, and I do believe that I look at this Forest team especially, and I say to myself, have they got the experience to cope with the pressure? I've seen clubs many, many times, even seen United do it, even seen United crumble under the pressure. So different type of game, different type of pressure for Forest, something they've not experienced, and I think United could pounce on it, to be honest with you.
I don't really see any pressure on Nottingham Forest, to be honest with you, out there from the wider mainstream media, you know, what current league position they're in, you know, with the FA Cup. I think there's a lot of people out there hoping Forest do actually finish in the top 4 as well. And it's kind of game by game for Forest. It's a free hit. I mean, if they do even finish out the Champions League places and finish 5th, I think that's a tremendous achievement for Nottingham Forest themselves. And, you know, every game that I watch with Forest, you know, you sometimes think, you know, when they've suffered a loss or they've suffered a draw, you think, right, that's them now. You might see them go on a downward trajectory, but they've not. It looks like there's a real confidence in that squad. And the manager there, for me, I think if he was to stick in this position and finish 3rd come the end of the season, for me, it's a no-brainer for manager of the season for me.
Well, listen, you've got to give credit to the manager. He's done absolutely brilliant with him. No one thought that, especially when he was at Spurs, left Spurs, and now he's at Forest. I think he's done excellent, and I think the players have done excellent. You've got to congratulate them all, to be honest with you. But playing Manchester United now, getting beat by Manchester United, that will be a big blow. If Manchester United manage to beat them, that will be a big blow up there, as if to say, oh, we've stumbled. We can't stumble the next game. So how do we play it? This is pressure. So for me, I think Forest 120 minutes the other day in the FA Cup. Now it's a semi-final. Have they had time to clear their heads? You know, these are all little things that the pundits and fans out there are sort of missing. They do play compact, so that might play in their favour. They do defend and they all attack. Well, they defend and attack together. But how does he go at it? This is Manchester United now. I look at United and I say to myself, they can attack, they can break. And I think Forest have looked at United over the last few games and thought, right, there's something in this team. There's a confidence back. United just have to stay tight. I think there'll be few chances in the game. I personally am expecting a draw. But to be honest with you, it would not surprise me if either side was able to nick it. I think it'll be it won't be a great attacking game. I don't see it. I think United will stay compact. I think Forest will as well. And then they'll try and break away and get it. I do see Forest sort of breaking away in games where they are compact. I see 7 of them at times defending. So you never know. Once they fall into that little huddle, 7 at the back, it's sometimes hard to get back. And then the longer the game goes without Forest scoring, they'll be thinking, shall we take a point? Shall we take a point? They're at home. The fans will be up for it. They're in a great position. Champions League football is the prize, and they've got the FA Cup as well, so they will be right up for it. But United just got to stick in there.
They have indeed, and like I say, they've certainly surprised a lot of people, Nottingham Forest this season. And Ruben Amorim said in his press conference, as you can see on screen, that's highlighted, that he's really confident going into this game. The players are more confident, the energy is different, but this could change with results. We're focused on maintaining the energy. We worked on things that we can improve. And even on winning games, we have the knowledge and we have a lot to improve. And if you're looking over the recent games, like the likes of Leicester, you know, the Real Sociedad game, especially at Old Trafford, the Arsenal game, a lot of people, including myself on the YouTube channel, have noticed improvements as well, not just with individual players, but as a team as well, defending and in attack. Yeah,
well, Ruben talks about the energy, what he's seen in the team and the confidence. And I think that he's had a little bit of time with him, a little bit more than he normally has after an international break. So the results matter, and he does say that, but it's about the confidence. And I think these players, these Manchester United players, are raring to go. I don't think it's been a difficult time for any players what have been abroad playing international football. I think everyone's come back, everyone's happy, but there's a focus on the players what a cup being introduced back, the injured players. There's a lot of confidence now that these players will get back for the final 9 games. And I think going into this game, there is a fight, a competition for places to keep the places. And that, you know, you can go through the team and say, will he stay in the team when Kobe Mainoo comes back? Will he stay in the team when Ahmad comes back? You know, Mount's there. Mount's ready to pounce. You know, he's been on the fringes. He's not got on the pitch, but he's fit. So there is competition. And when there's competition like that and other players coming back from injury, then you have to say to yourself, players will fight for that position. And I've seen players fight. So that's a good thing. So let's hope they take that in there. As he says, Ruben Amorim, the confidence is there. But we can all see it as fans. We can see there's a confidence and there's something changing. And I don't think Ruben Amorim and the players are going to mess this up for the final 9 games. And I think going to Forest there, it's an opportunity to express themselves. You know, I look at Garnacho. You know, Garnacho has to play well. He has to fight because the position, and he's been playing the right wing. Ahmad's, he'll be due back. He'll get game time. So for me, Garnacho, I think, go for it, son. Express yourself because you are under pressure.
Yeah, you've got Garnacho, you've got Højlund, both scored in the last game against Leicester. So you'd open the kind of carrying that confidence into the Nottingham Forest game, and especially in the Europa League ties, what we've got coming up against Lyon. Do you expect them both to start, though, in this game?
Yeah, I do expect them both to start. And the good thing about them both scoring, you did see them getting behind the defence. And I think that's United on the front foot. And I think when United have gone to Forest before, I think they've had a poor attitude and everything else like that in lots of games, to be honest with you. But I think what you see now is a front foot attitude where they stay tight, compact in the middle. I've just noticed that we're not getting run through in that midfield anymore. That seems to be the big bonus. And I think that's where Forest will struggle against United. I think they'll see that change. And I think once United stop them, I think it'll be a bit of head scratching going on.
Yeah, you've got Casemiro, who's played a few games recently, started the games, and you've got Agati in there as well. Let me know out there, would you bring Agati in for Casemiro alongside Bruno Fernandes in that too? But I've been quietly, you know, surprised really about Casemiro's performances, especially in them Europa League games. And you could look at the Arsenal game as well. I thought for the Leicester game, actually, in the second half, I thought he'd done actually really well. You look at the ball that he played for the 3rd goal. Great ball, crossfield pass to Delot. Delot beat his man, squared it for Bruno Fernandes. But I think he's done his work quietly pretty well.
Yeah, he's done his work well. Can't argue with that. But at the end of the day, if you've got a choice, between Ugarte and Casemiro, it has to be Ugarte. For me, Casemiro played well, sat there, sort of like looking along, trying to get the tackles in and just moving the ball along as quickly as possible. But Casemiro, if you look back at his form a year ago, there he was, box, back again, scoring goals and everything. Casemiro now hasn't got that. So for me, Ugarte, he's straight in. And I'd be shocked, absolutely shocked, if Ugarte doesn't start.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the Europa League as well, to be honest. I mean, does he have one eye on that as well? You know, the games that he's got coming up this week, the Forest and City game, looking to try and keep some of the players fresh, or, you know, will he just be taking it game by game? You know, especially when you're looking at the likes of Casemiro and Ugarte, who will his first choice be in that game against Lyon? I mean, Casemiro, to me, hasn't let us down in either of them 2 games in Europe.
No, he's a bit part player. That's what people out there are saying. And I think that's the way it's going to be. When you look at the Europa League and you look at the squad, we're getting players back. I think he will look at it game by game. I think the Forest game, and especially the City game, he'll just play it game by game. Players are coming back, and players what are on that pitch, like I said before, they're now going to have to fight to stay in this team. And if they get on a winning run, then, you know, there's nothing better for players, fitness-wise and everything, to stay in that team, knowing that they could lose the place if they come out when we're on a run. And the Europa League is the target. Amorim did mention that today when he was asked. It's important to have the players back. We're going on a run. These 9 games were in the Europa League. And he has said in the past, and it was explained today, the Europa League is the target for Man United.
Yeah, no, of course. I think we're going... I don't think we've actually won back-to-back Premier League games under Ruben Amorim yet. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the chat. But I have got to be honest, I'm buzzing that Manchester United are back. 2 weeks has been too long for me without having the stress of watching United this season. But I'm cautious, especially about these next 5 games that we've got coming up in the Premier League and the 2 in the Europa League. I mean, if we come out of that unscathed where, you know, we've not lost any of them games, I mean, we could see then a big improvement then towards the end of the season, but then leave us optimistic going into next season as well. But like I say, I've just got to throw a word to caution, because let's have it right, this season has not been a good one, but let's hope the players can kick on and let's see a bit of an improved performance.
Well, it's the next 5 games. The next 5 games are really, really tough. And that's why I say it's game by game. Got to see how it goes. But I'm just hoping that the confidence with what I've seen and what Ruben Amorim's talking about within the club, and there is a new renewed confidence, that they turn out and they put in the performances. We need it. But the 5 games, starting with Forest, are really, really tough. But the focus, at the end of the day, has to be on that Europa League. And I don't think he can look at that until after the City game.
Yeah, the focus has definitely got to be on it. And I don't think Ruben Amorim will demand any less, to be honest. I think he'll be wanting every single game Manchester United to go out and win it, regardless of what actual team he puts out. We've mentioned in recent videos about De Ligt as well. Real starting to like come to the fore, to show his character and maybe even his leadership skills as well on the pitch. And I think it's good now to have Dorgu back as well. After that suspension, let's see if we can get a run of games out of Dorgu. Let's hope it brings us a little bit more an attacking threat down that left-hand side as well, because I do think they've got big roles to play in the team, the wing-backs, especially creating chances and trying to get balls into the box for our striker, who is normally Højlund.
Well, this is where Dorgu helps with getting behind any defence, what we're playing. And I think that is pivotal in the way forward with United. Creating chances, but you've got to put them away. But we've been creating plenty of chances and we're now scoring goals. So with Dorgu back, I think that's going to really help the momentum on Tuesday night against Forest.
Yeah, he was optimistic about Heaven as well, that we could see him in the near future as well, because with that Leicester game, I think we all had our head in our hands, didn't we, thinking that's him done for the rest of the season. But over the last week or so, there's been positive signs, positive pictures out there, and he's saying that we could see him back in the near future. And it's a player that's hit the ground running, let's be honest with ourselves, Heaven. As soon as he's come into the team, doesn't look like the pressure or the weight of that shirt's affected him at all.
No, having Evan back a lot quicker than a lot of us thought. The recovery from him is good to hear. You've got Ahmad as well. He's talked about Ahmad recently, and he will be back and he will be pivotal for United. And you just never know with Ahmad. Could be back a lot quicker than even Ruben Amorim thinks. You look at Shaw, he's back, but he's not really in contention for quite a while. Kobe Mainu, not too sure the way Ruben Amorim was talking about him. Is he really expecting him back soon? I don't think so. I think they're having their own sort of private training and just keeping that up. So them two there, Shaw and Kobe Mainu, not for now, maybe in 10 days or something like that. That'd be great. That would be absolutely great. And then Evan might start his journey coming back into the team. But for me, I just look at Mount. I think Mount, with his running around, everything else, and his energy, I think he will. I think he might be the surprise over the next few weeks in this Ruben Amorim side.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might say out there it'll be a big surprise as well with Mason Mount. That if he does start against Nottingham Forest or he comes in anytime soon, that he actually then finishes the rest of the season. Because if you look at his career at United, it's just constantly stop, start. And he needs to get a run of games together, Mason Mount, for his long-term future here at Manchester United. Whether he performs, which I genuinely do think he does, when he pulls on the shirt and he's available, but a player's no good to it if he can't actually do a continuous amount of games here at United, whether that's in the starting 11 or just being available from the bench.
That goes for two of them, Mason Mount and Luke Shaw. You know, I actually thought Luke Shaw would have been back by now, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of fans out there, very, very critical of Shaw. Should never have gone away with England. Who did he think of first? England, not Man United. Well, Man United, they're the ones what pay his wages. So he's made a foolish move there. And here we are now, paying his wages, getting nothing out of him. We've got Mount, you know, injury prone. He has now got to prove himself, Mason Mount. And I think the next 9 games plus the Europa League are very, very pivotal for Mason Mount. And in the summer, decisions might be made based on the 9 games to play. But Shaw's got to get back in this team because he will be out. There is no way you can carry on keeping him because he just seems to look at a piece of blade of grass and then he gets injured. So you just don't know. But it's a tough time for them too. But also interesting with all the players coming back. So my focus is on these players on Tuesday night. And I just want them to compete, get stuck in there. And I think they will, because they're under pressure. Places are under pressure with all the players coming back. So for me, I'm going for a draw. But like I said before, I would not be surprised if either Forest or Man United nicked it with a late goal.
Yeah, I just want to see a bit of improvement. Just something to grab hold of and be optimistic about for next season. And, you know, the next 3 Premier League games, is it Forest, City, then Newcastle? If we don't see really any improvement in performances or results, I think Ruben Amorim then might start looking towards maybe the academy players, maybe bringing 1 or 2 into the actual first team and the actual starting 11 to get a look at them maybe for next season, whether they need another loan out to another club or whether they can actually be stepped up for next season into a first team squad.
No, these players are going to improve. There's no 2 ways about it. They're going to improve. I've got no worries about it. There's competition for places here. That's how I see it. When there's competition for places, you see the attitude, what's changed. You know, the energy, the confidence and the focus is on this. And what you don't see is the discipline. Some bad discipline at Man United. Not seen that over this international break. You normally see players coming out saying things and the press getting hold of it. Not seen that. So things are changing inside the club for this team. So for me, I've got no worries about this team going forward. I know the tough games and that you can lose any game, okay? But what you won't see is players strolling about. You'll see players fighting. I think the days are over for players thinking they can just stroll about, whether it's in training or on that pitch. And we've seen Ruben Amorim with his strictness. Things are changing. So I've no worries about this. They will compete. Whether they'll win all these games, you know, who knows? But they will compete. Ruben Amorim knows what's coming in the summer, and so do these players.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I think that the majority of maybe this first team squad that he's been probably picking on week in, week out aren't going to be here next season, or he doesn't want him in his long-term plans. So for me, I'm thinking more or less get some of these academy kids in, let's give them a bit of a start, give them a go, and let's see how they take it in a Manchester United shirt in the starting 11, because a couple of the youngsters that we brought in who we've actually signed, let's say Heaven and Dorgu, surely there's academy kids there looking at them thinking, I can do that.
I think
I'm looking up to them. I can do that.
I think if anyone done a count of how many young players are in this squad or on the fringe, there's a hell of a lot. I think these players are here for next year. So, you know, we've got the young players there going through FA Cup, Youth Cup and all that. We've got them players. We know they're the future and they'll be working on that. But we've got a hell of a lot of young players. And individually, when you look at them, good players. So the future is bright as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Fred Grantham says the under-18s live on YouTube tonight, guys. I think they are actually. I did see something earlier on saying it was being free to actually air and watch the game. So I'm going to check that out, actually. Get a reminder on, because I do want to watch that. And I'm sure there's a lot of yous out there as well that'll want to support the young lads tonight. And
well, they're at Villa, aren't they?
Yeah, and just like to thank you all for joining us today. A lot of you's getting your score predictions in. I'm going for a draw as well. I think it'll be 2-2, but let us know your predictions. A lot of you's going for the win, which is good to see, positive. So I'm all up for that. I'm all for that, and it's much appreciated everyone getting involved today. We'll be back tomorrow straight after the game with a match reaction. So come and join us, and we'll see you there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.